Hi guys, so my good friend, the Right Honourable Gentleman from the 1800s, Jacob Rees-Mogg, was as giddy as a schoolboy from his Eton days, where he was welcoming the idea of Parliament returning and government being scrutinised. Well, let's hear what he had to say.
And I'm in entire agreement with my honourable friend. We need to get back to do it properly. And the key is that scrutiny is good for the government as well as it is for our constituents and for seeking redress of grievance. The tougher the scrutiny...
What the hell is he talking about here? Scrutiny is good for government, but government is not being scrutinised. Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock, and other ministers do not actually answer questions. Yes, they stand up and they respond, but they don't actually respond to the question asked. They start talking about something else, or they invent their own question and answer that instead. This is not scrutiny. Government have policy. They need to implement the policy, and they need to be scrutinised on whether they implemented the policy or they did not. But if Parliament doesn't allow a question to be answered, then what is the point of Parliament? What is the point of this scrutiny? It's not going to take place.
The better policy is thought through, the better policy is presented, and the more it becomes possible to avoid making mistakes that may prove an irritant to our constituents.
What the hell is he talking about? An irritant to our constituents? The constituents voted for MPs to implement policy. Well, that's the ideal world, of course. Most people vote for Boris Johnson because they like his hairstyle or they think he's a bit rough around the edges. They don't actually vote for his policies. But, you know, in an ideal scenario, they would vote for his policies. The opposition would challenge the government on whether they've actually fulfilled those promises. That's not happening because the Labour Party or other opposition parties ask a question. Boris Johnson ignores the question and starts talking about something else, or he invents his own question and responds to that. And it's not just Boris Johnson. Jacob Rees-Mogg does it as well. How is that being scrutinised? And how is that redress for issues that constituents are facing? If, for example, constituents are saying, well, the government said that they're going to increase welfare spending, which should ideally reduce, for example, poverty. But if poverty goes up, and this is a question raised by a member of Parliament for the opposition, and the government don't respond to it, how is that addressing their issue?
So getting back to the chamber, doing things properly is absolutely essential. We have the 21st of June, Midsummer's Day itself, penciled in, so people can leave Stonehenge and come to the chamber of the House of Commons on that day.
Okay, so what is this? Okay, just ignore the last part. Well, what is the objective here? What is the main reason Jacob Rees-Mogg wants people to come back to Parliament? It's not about scrutiny of government. It has never been about scrutiny. The Speaker of the House and the Deputy Speaker are incapable of making sure that the government are scrutinised. No, the objective here is to fill the House with screaming fans. Boris Johnson's fans. Because when Boris Johnson stands up and he tries to ignore a question, he gets away with it. But he wants a theatre. He wants a fan base behind him. He wants to appear strong. When he's on his own, he appears weak. But he gets away with it because he has the House of Commons, in a sense, protecting him. The Speaker does not challenge him to answer questions. The Deputy Speaker is pretty much the same. They don't challenge him. They don't demand that he answers questions. But Boris Johnson likes the crowd. He wants the crowd of screaming yahoos behind him, so that when he stands up, there is a cheer. When he sits down, there's a clap. Doesn't matter what he said. Doesn't matter what he did. Doesn't matter whether he answered the question or not. He wants the screaming crowd behind him. And now that he has an 80-seat majority, doesn't mean that the Parliament will be full, but it will mean there are more screaming yahoos behind him. Jacob Rees-Mogg knows this, and that's why Jacob Rees-Mogg, along with the rest of the Conservatives, are pushing for more MPs back in the House of Commons. It helps Boris Johnson. It gives him that emotional crutch that he needs. That's it. It's not about holding government to account. It has never been. It's not about redressing issues that constituents have. Because constituents are also represented by opposition MPs. And when an opposition MP asks a question, they want it answered. And we've seen on numerous occasions that does not happen. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?